Welcome to the Game of Satoshi livestream. This is the world's first cinematic Bitcoin puzzle game. This is where you can decode Satoshi's enigma so you can learn, win, and master financial freedom one episode at a time. Every week, we take you inside the story of money's hidden history, the problems that Bitcoin solves, and the choices that will shape your future. Each episode on this channel delivers a clear lesson, an interactive puzzle, and a path for you to level up, whether you're a first-timer or a hardcore Bitcoiner. We're just about to start the live stream show where we'll offer real-time challenges, giveaways, interviews with Bitcoin experts, and answer your questions. So grab your coffee or drink of choice and lock in. Here we go. Afternoon, good morning, wherever you guys are coming to us from. Welcome back to the Game of Satoshi live stream. I'm your host, Jesse J. Things look a little different this week. I'm actually traveling for the Thanksgiving holiday, but definitely always, as I always plan to be, always love to be with you guys here on Fridays, 6 p.m. Central Time, Central European Time. That's when we usually host these. And this week we are, still centering around the Bitcoin theme, but we have a really interesting guest that's going to help us secure physical freedom. We've always been talking about financial freedom, but securing yourself physically in terms of where you live, where you have residencies, what passports you hold. This is really important stuff these days, especially as the world is becoming more and more, I wouldn't say maybe unstable, but things are changing very, very quickly. And we've all kind of felt that pace of change. So today we're joined by Pavol Luptak of Liberation.Travel. And I'm really excited to have Pavol join me today because I've personally got some questions about how to use the services that they're providing over at Liberation.Travel to help myself and my family become more free physically in terms of where I live and where I work from, and how I'm able to maybe travel more freely using the great services that they're able to provide. So if you guys are new to the channel, new to the movement, new to the Game of Satoshi, just remember you can always join. There's going to be a link below. You can join the Game of Satoshi anytime. You can start solving the quizzes, start solving the puzzles. You can start watching these episodes anytime you'd like to. There's never a date that's too late, as long as we haven't given our final giveaway, which is now 1 Bitcoin plus. We've got some great donations that you guys have been adding to it, but it's never too late to join us, so make sure you do take advantage of that. It's free to join. Just click on the link below to get started. Also, as we were talking about and talking to Pavol today, if you guys have particular specific personal questions you'd like to have me ask Pavol, use that Slido link in the description box below. That's how you're going to be able to ask him those questions. And of course, we are going to be giving our 3 giveaways today. So you want to make sure you stay tuned to the very end of the episode so you can potentially have a chance to win. But just like last week, we're switching it up again. We're going to be giving away the first prize to the top comment of the week, but the second 2 prizes will be given away to random comments from this week's episode and emission. So if you haven't left a comment under this week's episode and mission, the 2 videos that were released on Saturday and Tuesday, you still got a few minutes right now to go do that. Make sure it's more than 1 word long, and we'll be raffling off a couple of great prizes for all of you guys that are there. This week, still no top player award because we were still kind of recovering from that DDoS attack from last week, but we will still make sure that 3 giveaways are going to be a part of today's episode and session. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and introduce you guys to Pavol Luptak of Liberation.Travel. So Pavol, welcome to the show, man. Thank you so much for joining us today. To get us kicked off and started, what would you say is the biggest illusion that modern citizens are living under?
Hello, Jesse. Thanks a lot for the invitation. Anyway, good question. I think the biggest illusion is that most people in a Western society, when I mean European countries, for example, but also in the US or Canada, they have a lot of expectation from the government. And the problem is these expectations are not real. It's just illusion of expectations. Recently, I wrote an article about this topic, but very shortly, for example, maybe I can demonstrate these illusions of expectation on my country, originally I'm from Slovakia, and for example, in Slovakia, total taxation is 63%. 63% basically means that two-thirds of your productive life you work for the government. And when you just wake up, look around you, and just find out how much services you basically receive from the government or how much services you receive from the private sector. And in Slovakia, we have super corrupted government, and we used to say that if you pay taxes, you support corruption. Don't you want to support corruption? Don't pay taxes. And it's like 100% true, unfortunately, in Slovakia. And despite this fact that we have super corrupted government and non-functional like a healthcare system, for example, you have to pay for everything. Despite the fact that it should be like for free according to our constitution, it's not free. You have to pay almost for everything, and still people they are under influence of illusions. Then, thanks to the government they don't die on the streets because they are some like a government healthcare system, and they will receive like a pensions because they pay like a some social care. And it's also not true. The government has full control. For example, controls the age where you can retire, or they control amount of money like a pension you receive when you're old. So basically, the government has full control over completely your life, and they can change it as they wish, and you have no guarantees of anything. But still, most people they're under illusions of this expectation that maybe someday they will receive like these 63% of their productive life they sacrificed, or they're just sacrificing for the government.
Wow, and that's kind of a sobering percentage, and it's something actually that I've been thinking a lot about
Yeah, yeah,
myself lately. Is how do I actually live a life where I'm paying less and less of my life's energy away to somebody who's not providing as much productive energy back to me? It's a tricky one. Um, how do you think we actually got to this point where this has become normalized? I think about this a lot in terms of like long-term trends between this never-ending fight between freedom and tyranny. It kind of goes back and forth, and it seems like some days, some weeks, freedom's making some wins. Other weeks and days, seems like tyranny's making the wins. How do you think we got to this point now where this is the status quo?
I think, and like this answer won't be like very optimist. I think it's genetically or biologically hard coded. Uh, Even like when you basically see our like most similar apes, even in case of apes, for example, they it's the best evolutionary strategy to follow the alpha males. And despite the fact that to follow these alpha and to vote for this alpha male, basically, to vote for to follow these alpha males and do what these alpha males basically say. Because most people, and this is I think hardcoded in our genes, are not able to take full responsibility for their actions. So basically, and it's caused by it's caused, yeah. So in the when we are like children, our parents they care about us, and we reach the age 18 years. We basically expect that someone else, like our alpha leader, will care about us, and that's why we basically follow believing in the government when we vote politician, because we are not able uh, to be responsible for our personal lives. And now I'm not saying that everybody, but most of people, and that's why most of people, and that's the first thing. And another thing is that it's that biologically we prefer like a we tend to some stable solution or to some stability. Yeah. And the thing is that all these alpha males, now let's call them like a politician, they provide us not stability, but they provide us illusion stability. They're basically saying, hey, you should pay like a healthcare system, social care, something. You should pay something. You should pay taxes, and then your life will be deterministic. It will be stable, and everything will be fine. And just the thing that most people or biologically prefer like some kind of stability, like a stable life, everything should be fine. And because of and the thing is, and but stability from the it's not natural, because everything is volatile, everything is changing. Uh, and just because there are a lot of alpha males around us, now we call them politician, and all these politicians, they promise stability in the lives of all people. We we uh, we basically exchange our freedom. Our freedom means like economical freedom, because we basically exchange half of our, or even two-thirds of our productive life, uh, pre-productive life, for stability. And the worst thing is, it's not like real stability, it's just illusion stability. I'm just writing the newsletter. Maybe I should mention, I'm just writing the new uh, newsletter. Like, I'm writing like a monthly newsletter, which is called Liberation.Travel Hacks. And I wrote introduction to this in this newsletter exactly about this. So if you're more interested what I'm just talking about now, you should definitely subscribe and read it, because that's so. I think it's a biological things. Just because most people, they want stability, they're basically following like alpha leaders, alpha males, providing them some stable, like a stability solution. That's that's the problem, I think, with our society.
I love that, man. You've definitely thought very, very deeply about that, and yeah, your newsletter sounds
It's a very
really.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And maybe I should like mention is that what like lightning, like what should we be, what we should be able to realize is that finally there is no stability. There are just a lot of opportunities. So instead of voting for some politician and, and exchanging our really productive life for something that basically doesn't work, we should be able to grasp like opportunities our life brings us, because we have unlimited opportunities, and that's the only thing what we have. So like, don't expect anything, don't have expectation, just like embrace of opportunities your life offers you, and that's my recommendation. Huh? Now I look now it sounds like I'm some kind of guru or something, but no, like, this is what I think. Yeah. And it can be applied also to Bitcoin world, like for sure.
Yeah, and I want to get into your connection to the Bitcoin community through Liberation Travel as well, because what you said there really reminded me. One of the first experiences that was scary that I had with Bitcoin was sending it to the wrong address and losing some Bitcoin long, long time ago. And I remember reaching out to the company saying, "Hey, I was trying to deposit something on your site. It didn't show up. How do I get my money back?" And it was like, "What do you mean get your money back? There's no such thing as getting your money back. Or when you sent it, you sent it." And it was like that moment of just feeling the loss, right? Feeling that I just lost some value. I'd lost some Bitcoin because the responsibility of that freedom ultimately lied with me. There was no bailout. There was no FDIC insurance. There was nobody else. There was no complaint department. And that's what made me realize this is what's so powerful and scary about Bitcoin for a lot of people is that it is ultimate responsibility. It's your Bitcoin, it's your responsibility how you store it and how well you look after it. And if you're going to send it, it's your responsibility to make sure you're sending it to the right one, the right address. So how has your history with Bitcoin intertwined with Liberation Travel? Are they mutually very, very intertwined and connected? How did maybe one influence the other?
Yeah, since the beginning, we decided to be like a 100% crypto or 100% Bitcoin company. So as Liberation Travel, we don't have, and we have never had bank accounts. So we are completely fiat free since beginning. Of course, like me personally, I have bank accounts where I'm still able to receive like some fiat transaction transfers. But as a company, we never had, and we don't have like a bank account. So since the beginning, and it was absolutely crucial and important in our business because what we are basically doing, we are basically helping people to opt out of the system, to decentralize their lives to multiple different systems, and that's what many governments don't like. So, for example, what we are doing, we're helping like wealthy people in European Union to leave the EU, to stop paying taxes, to be like be the tax resident of Paraguay, for example, and we help like almost 10,000 or almost 1,000 people now. And most of these people are like really wealthy people, and they completely they left the system. They stopped paying taxes, and no governments like it likes it. You know, they are just losing their customers, and I'm just helping them with. So for me, it was very likely that in this kind of business, the governments. Uh, would cause me a lot of problems. Banks uh, cause me a lot of issue, like blocking transaction transfer and everything. You know, so that why we decided that for the most customer, like almost everybody pay us in Bitcoin or Lightning or like in Mono or Zcash or you know. But of course, we love like Bitcoin, so most customer pay us in Bitcoin. So that's the connection because it's in our situation, it's definitely the most safe and the best way how anyone can order our services, and it works perfectly. You know, every time, because I don't have only I have some other companies, and every time when I had some problem with my business, many times it was just with the bank account and bank transfers and blocking, freezing transactions. So. Being like a 100 Bitcoin only company was the best decision I made for sure.
It sounds like you guys are philosophically aligned. You know, freedom financially, freedom in your travel and in your living situation. It sounds
Yeah.
like you guys have that all figured out. Wow. So zero bank accounts, zero fiat. That is an amazing accomplishment. It sounds like a dream. It sounds really, really cool. We will be asking you about the specific services you offer. I'm personally interested. I've had that thought for a long time in terms of second passports, residencies. I'm actually looking at, many countries. So we will definitely be asking you about that. And all of you guys, if you guys have specific questions, that Slido link is the way to do that. Make sure you do use that link, type in your question, or upvote one of the previously asked questions so we can get to it. So we will be getting those specifics. But just before, we're going to be giving away our first giveaway here in just a second. One more question. As you're doing this, and I'm assuming you're doing a lot of traveling, you're in multiple countries. We'll get into the specifics. What do your family and friends think about this? Like, do they think you've lost your mind? Do they support you? Where are you at with your social circle?
When I started this business like 5 years ago, and as a random guy from Slovakia, I went to Panama and later to Paraguay, and I started to offer Paraguayan like residencies. Everybody thought that I'm totally crazy because one of the main reasons I started to do it is because in Slovakia we have total taxation of crypto 41%, man. So it's like almost half. And I was just thinking, uh, basically, I can offer solution for Bitcoin hodlers in Slovakia. They can just move to Paraguay and instead of paying like a 41% taxation, almost half of their Bitcoins to the government. I mean, the corrupted government. They could just move to Paraguay and they can buy like a beautiful apartment or condo in with a swimming pool and spa and everything instead of paying this money to the government. And of course, like in most Bitcoin holders, they decided for this second option. So I helped them with that. So basically, I was able to boost these services just because of crazy laws, crypto laws in Slovakia that basically force this law forces people to pay up to 41% taxes from crypto. Nobody wants to pay it. And and uh, and and it took some time for the most people realize that there is no other option. Either they get like a good tax residency, or they just will or they will pay like like almost half of their Bitcoin to the government. And so more and more people started to choose the tax residence in Panama or Paraguay. And after 5 years, we have maybe 4 or 5 companies just in Slovakia and Czech Republic that are offering the same like residencies in Paraguay. So basically, in the beginning, 5 years ago, everybody thought I'm just super like a lunatic, crazy guy trying to do something like crazy. And now I know this was like a good decision because I have like many competitors, like so yeah. And another thing I just remember, yeah, this is also like pretty interesting. In Liberation.Travel, we also offer non-CRS bank account, like a non-CRS mean non-reporting, non-spying bank account in Kyrgyzstan. In Kyrgyzstan, also in Georgia, Georgia has already signed CRS, but it's like a premium bank account. And if you want to, and this is like a funny, most people, almost all people, when they're buying these bank accounts, they pay us in Bitcoin. So basically, we are opening bank accounts for Bitcoin. It's like a strange, but that's what's going on.
Wow. Yeah, it's like
But CR, like non,
yeah, it's like
yeah,
you sound
non-CR
crazy
bank account.
until people see the vision coming through, and then in time you seem like the only sane one. So that's really cool that you guys have seen that evolution in other
Yeah,
people's perception of what you're doing.
yeah. So, if I can reveal some secrets from my business, and I think this secret definitely will work also in the US. Basically, the EU is like a regulation file, and you cannot imagine like for what exactly everything we have some kind of regulation. Like we are super over-regulated society, and everything is super regulated and super taxed. And the thing is that every time when there is new legislation, new regulation introduced, some people become very angry because now they cannot do what they could in the past. It's much more expensive for them. So basically, any legislation, any regulation make some kind of society angry to be angry, and and there is always a good business idea to offer some solution to these people to legally avoid this regulation, for example, or help them to minimize consequences of this regulation or legislation. So basically, what I'm just doing, I'm just checking like what new stupid regulation are introducing in the EU, and I'm trying to find out like a business plan how to help these people either legally avoid this regulation or to minimize negative consequences of the regulation. Okay, like one specific case, like every few weeks, like a new kinds of people contact me or contact our like a department, and and there are like waves, waves of people each like every few months, and I'm just asking these people what happened, why so many people now like want private residency or the Kyrgyzstan bank or something, something is happening. So for example, last year a lot of like old people, like a 70 years old people contacted me, maybe I don't know, many of these people. I was surprised. What's happening, why so many old people like a seniors are contacting me, and they want and they wanted a driving lesson in Paraguay, like residence in Paraguay driving lesson. And the reason was because in Slovakia or the EU, there is like a new proposal that basically all old people older than 70 years old, uh, if they have driving license, they because they are just too old, they need to make again these like a driving test, or driving exams or something like that. And all of these people, they just don't want to do that, so they're looking for a driving license in some other country, like a Paraguay. And so basically, this is like so every time these bureaucrats in the EU or Slovakia, every time they approve like a new stupid like legislation, we can see like a wave of new customers. Wow, this another new wave of customers who want to leave the EU because another stupid shit was like basically approved. So this is like interesting. So basically, what I want to tell you is that you can earn money from all these stupid legislation just by offering solution against it. You know how to minimize like a negative consequences of that. And so you have to be smart to ever like a how to do it in a legal way. That's why you have a like legal team, and that's all. Oh, okay.
Wow, love that. Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest problems you guys are solving is basically helping people to navigate all the regulations and all the things that are making our life so complicated. And that's a great point because I think most of our viewers are probably coming from Europe, and so they probably are going to be needing some help in these directions, which we'll get into in just a second here, guys. What I'm going to do right now is we're going to do our first giveaway, and we'll come right back and talk a little bit more about what Liberation Travel can do for us. But first, let's give away our first prize, which is the Block Hunters Bitcoin board game. And this first one is going to go for our top comment of the week. So if you guys are subscribed to the channel, which you should do below, obviously leaving us likes on this video and other videos as well, we'd appreciate that. But if you leave great comments that really capture our attention, you can win prizes. So this week, we're going to be giving away this Block Hunters Bitcoin board game to Shaw 256 ECDSA. Congratulations. And their comment was the dollar gave one country unfair power over the world. Bitcoin takes that power away and gives fair, neutral money to everyone. So, absolutely, and great comment. Thank you so much for being a part of this movement, for giving us great feedback and great comments on our channels. And make sure you do reach out to the team, info@thegameofsatoshi.com, and you can give them your mailing address. We'll make sure we mail it out to you. For the rest of you guys, if you guys want to go get your own copy of Block Hunters board game, they're one of our sponsors. Go to blockhuntersgame.com and use the promo code TGOS21. You get 21% off of your order. So make sure you do support them and bring home a really cool, fun board game for you and the family to be able to play and get even smarter about Bitcoin together. So congratulations. And now I want to dive into the weeds and the details with you about Liberation Travel. So first off, I think let's say kind of maybe focus this conversation more on European citizens. So a European citizen
Mhm.
watching this is maybe interested in potentially what you have to offer. Give us your elevator pitch to a European citizen. What can you guys do for them, and how do you solve a major problem for them?
Okay, so um, I'm also European citizen. Fortunately, I'm not European tax resident, and that is exactly what most people want because European passport is still strong. You can have a lot of privileges. You can still visit a lot of countries. But if you have like a European residency, I mean tax residency, then you have a lot of duties, and you basically don't want these duties. You want these privileges, but you don't want these duties. And the thing is that most in most EU countries, almost EU countries, they basically usurp you if you live there at least 6 months a year. I mean, at least 183 days a year. So my recommendation is if you can afford to live in each like or in your own EU country less than 183 days, then and if you can afford not to live in any other country more than 183 days, so basically you can live like in two EU or three EU countries at the same time. In this situation, the best thing what you can do is to get a tax residency in Paraguay. We can help you completely with that to get a tax residency in Paraguay. And one of the great advantage of Paraguay is that Paraguay is territorial taxation country, but of course there are many territorial taxation countries, which basically means you have to pay taxes only from local income, but if you have no like a local income, just foreign income out of Paraguay, you in this situation, you don't need to declare nor pay any taxes out of Paraguay. So the thing is, and this is absolutely great, if you can just decentralize your life inside of the EU, for example, Czech Republic, like a few months Slovakia, a few months in Poland, and the rest in Croatia, for example. So basically, if you can change your life in such a way that you won't live in one country more than 6 months, and you won't have center of your interest in one country, and so basically you become a digital nomad like me. In this situation, you can completely save. You won't be tax resident of any EU country, despite the fact that you will be living there, and you can save a lot of money. You don't need to pay healthcare insurance. You don't need to pay social insurance. So, for example, me personally, I used to say that I'm just too poor to live at one place and pay taxes. Because now, when I'm traveling full time, when I pay for all my flight tickets and all accommodation, hotel accommodation, it's still less for me than just stay at one place, for example, in Slovakia and pay taxes. I used to say I'm not enough rich to stay at one place and pay taxes. So just poor guy. So I'm just traveling all the time because it's the cheapest solution for me, and it can be the cheapest solution for you as well. So this is the first thing. You can still live in the EU, but not to live in any country more than 6 months. So you can basically switch in between multiple countries during the year. And another reason for you is that many countries, for example, Slovakia, my countries, they have associated conscription like a military duty, with permanent residency. So for Slovaks, for example, for Slovak residents, if they want, if they're afraid of the war, and now like in Slovakia, we have borders with Ukraine, so the war is pretty close to Slovakia. So for Slovak residents who don't want to be involved in this war, it's more than a good idea just to give up or to cancel their residency and just give up this conscription because and it's associated with permanent residency in Slovakia. In many countries, unfortunately, it's associated with like a citizenship, for example, but not in Slovakia. So we should check it. And so, for example, I don't have these conscription duties. I don't. I don't need to pay any healthcare insurance, social insurance, any taxes, anything. So, despite the fact that I spend significant time in European countries, I don't spend anywhere more than 6 months. I don't have residency anywhere. I don't have house anywhere. I don't have like I have my apartment in Asuncion, but I still can afford to live in the EU most of my time because I'm the EU citizen. So that's what you should be aware of. That if you can change your life a bit and not to stay anywhere more than 6 months, then you can receive a lot of freedom, a lot of completely new freedom, and you don't need to pay any taxes, like in a completely 100% legal way. Most people cannot like imagine it, but it's completely possible. You can still do business. So, for example, if you have European customers as the Paraguay tax resident, you can create the US LLC disregarded company, and when you own this US LLC disregarded company as the non-US citizen, so you will be the EU citizen, and you won't do business inside the US, so you won't have like the US customer in the US, then you have no tax duties inside of the US, no tax obligation towards the IRS. And in that situation, your tax duty of the US LLC company, which you use this US LLC company to issue the invoices towards to your EU customers, then the tax duties of this US LLC company is basically there's like a mechanism which is called pass-through. It's transformed to the tax residency of the owners of this company, which is Paraguay. So in Paraguay there is triple taxation. So finally, you don't need to declare nor pay any taxes. So for example, if you're an EU citizen and you have EU customers and you can afford to live not to live in Slovakia or any EU country more than 6 months a year. You have private tax residency, so you can use US LLC company to issue invoices to invoice or like EU customer for any services, uh, and finally not to pay legally 100% legally, not taxes, not any tax. If you have US customers in this situation as an EU citizen, you can create a company in Gibraltar, for example, and Gibraltar has territorial taxation. So if you have non-Gibraltar customers, so you do the business for the US customer. In this setup, like a EU citizen, Paraguayan tax residency, Gibraltarian company doing the business in the US, finally, again, you don't need to pay any taxes. 100%, 100% legal way. So I think the people should be aware of these options that they can save significantly a lot of money, and they can at the same time they can pay international health insurance. So I can recommend you the top 10 best international health insurance that have coverage in all countries, including the US, if they want. And that's all. And instead of social insurance, they just do savings in Bitcoin. It's like the best social insurance. What's all? So yes, it is possible change your life. I, I think many people can perceive it as in a dramatic, drastic way, but it's not true. Like you just can change your life a bit, travel a bit, and finally you can save a lot of money, for example, and you can give up a lot of like duties like conscription. So, and every European citizen can do that.
I love that. I do have some more questions on that, and I definitely am curious about the traveling around. I did get a couple of comments on YouTube. They're saying I think your audio is kind of hard to hear. Is it possible for you to switch a microphone out at this point? If not, don't worry about it. I just didn't know if there's something we can do. I can give away something while you're doing that. Are you able to make a switch on the microphone, or is that not possible?
I don't have like a microphone. I have like a second headphones here. I don't have microphone here. My microphone on my laptop is really bad. It's even worse.
Okay, because I'm hearing
So
you
I can
okay.
try. I can.
Yeah, I just think that viewers aren't being able to hear it for some reason, but I hear you loud and clear. But
Yeah.
why don't I'll go ahead and give I'm going to do a giveaway here. I'll give you a couple minutes if you don't mind. Maybe try out another scenario if it works better. Great. If not, just go back to this. Is that okay?
Okay.
Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and go on to our giveaway here. So go ahead. All right, guys. Thanks for bearing with us there. We'll try to get that audio sorted. I had some issues as well before we went live today. So I just was trying to get his audio to come through into my Streamlabs. And so we finally figured that out. So I do apologize, guys. Hopefully we can get a little bit of a clear audio setup here, but we'll see what we can do. But for now, what we'll do is we'll go for our next giveaway. So we're going to now be giving away the Trezor Safe 5 Bitcoin only hardware wallet. This is definitely a brand and a product that I personally use to safely secure my own Bitcoin. So I love the products and the services that they provide. And obviously, we had the guest on last week that was kind of letting us know more about the company and their backstory and how they're helping all of us just get smarter and safer with our Bitcoin. So we really appreciate them being a sponsor and a supporter of this show. And we really do live in an amazing time that we have all these great, wonderful allies of the Bitcoin movement helping us to stay safe and secure with our Bitcoin. So what we're going to do, as I said before, is we're going to raffle this off to one random comment from first. We'll go with the episode that was released on Saturday. So again, you do need to have left a comment under this week's episode. We have the episode and the mission. So we have the episodes that come out on Saturdays and the missions that come out on Tuesdays. So make sure you do leave comments. It should just be your automatic from now on. When you see a video released on the channel, make sure you leave a comment underneath it. That way you can be entered to win these raffles. So without further ado, let's go ahead and raffle off this Trezor Safe 5. Here we go. Winner is Hivan Cal 9711. Is there a better chance to win a prize than mining with BitAxe Gamma? So welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for obviously being a part of this. Hopefully all of you guys are subscribed. And Hivan Cal, what you need to do is reach out to the team info@thegameofsatoshi.com. Obviously verify that you are indeed this user, and you will be getting yourself a Trezor 5 Bitcoin only hardware wallet. So congratulations to you. So what we're going to do for our next giveaway, after a couple more questions, is to give away this Guardian Mini Miner. Okay, so this is the next one. So make sure that you guys, if you haven't yet, you can still have a chance to go leave a comment under the Tuesday mission that was released here on the channel. The link is, I believe, below in the description box as well, but just go to the channel and make sure you leave a comment there so you can be eligible to win that. But we'll get back to that in just a second. So without further ado, let me just go ahead and see if I can go back to Pavol here and see if we got a better mic. How is it sounding now? Are you there, Pavol?
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
So I can
Can
hear
you
you
hear me?
fine. Yep. Did you change it or is it still the
Yeah,
same?
it's the same. I don't know. I try to articulate and speak like uh, I don't know, better. Maybe this was the problem because I was speaking like too fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds good to
Okay.
me. Like I said, I've been able to hear you clearly the whole time, but I just want to make sure we really respond to some of those comments. So, anyways, going back to your
Yeah.
first
Yeah. Anyway.
topic, you were talking
Yeah.
about
I'm happy.
traveling from country to country. 6 months here,
Mhm,
6 months there.
mhm.
That sounds like maybe a very cool, wonderful thing to do as a single person. I'm somebody with 2 kids, right? And so for me, taking the whole family around the world and moving them every 6 months, there's some bonuses to that, there's some benefits to that, but then there's also the drawback of how do you actually build community? How do you stay in touch with family? How do you sort of manage a lifestyle like that when you have family? So I'm sure some of your clients do have families, and what sort of what does that look like when you have kids and you have dependents and a partner that's coming up with you with this journey?
Okay. So maybe I should mention that I also have 2 kids. So I also have family. Okay, we are not living together, but I'm traveling with them really a lot of time. Like basically all holidays, vacations, I am with my kids. So it's definitely possible. Maybe I should like mention that there are like special international schools, for example, for children of diplomats, and basically what you can do is your kids uh, can just visit these international schools, and they can study in a different countries, but basically still in one school. It's definitely possible. I think it's even better because your kids they will know like more languages, like multiple languages. They can be not polyglots, but they can speak really like multiple languages. They can have friends in many countries. So I think it's possible. For example, in your situation, I know that U.S. citizens are tax slave, but imagine that the U.S. is like a EU country. You live like a you can live like a five and a half months, for example, in California, and then for another 5.5 months, you can move just a bit like to the south, to Baja California, to the Mexican part, you know. So 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 you can live like still in California, just 2 different countries, and stay like one week. I don't know, like in Spain, or a few weeks in Spain, and that's all. So it's not so complicated. It's not so complicated. You can still live like most of your time in just California, like to different countries. Um, so yeah, it's possible. Uh, and I know people who are basically living at the border. So basically, they have 2 houses really close to each other, and one house is, for example, in Poland, just second house in the Czech Republic, and they're really living like up to 6 months in one country, and then in the second country. So basically, these tax residency tax residency never triggers. Like um, yeah, there are like many options, and also with children. I'm traveling a lot. I'm still meeting a lot of families with children, even like small children, and it's possible. Like what I can tell you is like traveling with children. I have been traveling with my children since they're they I don't know, maybe 6 months. And they're like professional travelers, and for me, it's much easier to travel with them than travel with adults. When you travel, so because because they're doing it all their childhood, so it's nothing special for them. It's like a normal style of life, like traveling. I think like changing places uh, maybe difficult, maybe much more difficult for adults, not for children. Because when you just show them this like a normal life, and what's very interesting, that many people they used to say, man, like traveling all the time, it's not natural, you know You should stay at one place. You should stay in one place and live there like forever. And I'm and I'm thinking, man, no, 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 no. Like a natural. Like when you basically look to the Homo sapiens, 99% of our time we were basically hunters and we were moving all the time. So just last, I don't know, 4,000 years, we decided to end up in one place, and thanks to agricultural revolution, uh, uh, we decided to build houses and stayed in one place. But historically, we were moving all the time. We were moving all the time, and so when someone asked me, "Is this not very natural to move all the time?" No, 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 no. It's not natural to stay at one place all the time. It's opposite. So it's not natural to stay at one place. Just look to the history of Homo sapiens. It's quite easy.
And I think my gut level check says that that's true because I usually get that 7 year itch where it's like I've been in the same place physically for 7 years, even just in a house or an apartment or whatever, and it's like I just get this feeling like I gotta go. I just gotta go try something else. Got to go to a new place. And so you're right. There's something deep down that's like, hey, you're too stagnant. You're too stable. You're too in the same place. You need to go adventure and go have a new thing. So that definitely checks out for me and my personality. So that's really cool. I want to ask you too. So, like, the experience or the example you gave, California, Baja, going back and forth. I definitely am looking into a Mexican residency because that's the closest country to me. I can literally drive there from where I live, so I like that ability. So, I've been looking into this, and I know some of our viewers are going to be in Europe and all over the place. But just for this particular example, I think about getting a residency in Mexico. Maybe I do want to try this where I live there part of the year, come back. What would I get out of using you guys rather than just myself kind of just going through the Mexican, consulate and filling out all the paperwork and kind of doing it all myself? Are you guys facilitating this service? You guys making it easier for me? Like, what do you guys give me that I wouldn't be able to do kind of on my own?
Okay, so the thing is, we don't offer. Okay, by the way, these are really coincident, but last year I was in Mexico and I also wanted to ask for Mexican residency. Uh, but I found that I didn't do that because they changed legislation. I wanted to use like one hack to get the residency in Mexico. It's not possible anywhere, but it's still pretty easy to like get Mexican residency. One important thing you should know: Mexico does not have territorial taxation. So it basically means it's super nice to live in Mexico, but never live there more than 6 months, because then you will become tax resident of Mexico with the obligation to declare and pay taxes from abroad body income. So Mexico is Mexican residence is not good for people who basically live there more than 6 months because you have to pay like a taxes. And your question was what else? So what we do, we basically offer like a full service. So we help the customer to get all necessary documents in their home country, for example, Czech Republic, Slovakia, or Poland. And so we check these documents. If they will be if these documents are acceptable by immigration office, then we basically uh, if you decide or if you opt in for like a all-inclusive package, in this situation we completely handle flight tickets, business flight tickets, accommodation in 5 stars, hotels. Basically, everything is included, including and of course all processes, immigration process in the country, which basically means we will pick up you at the hotel, we'll take you to the immigration office, we ask for a residency card, then we ask for cedula, which is like a national ID, for example. We ask for the driving license. We're able to ask for the driving license remotely. We can register you at the tax office. We can ask for your proof of address. We can help you to open the bank account. We can help you to make the center of your interest in Prague, for example, or in Panama. So basically, we can help you to make everything possible to move to this country and live there immediately. So and the significant or the best advantage of our service is community. We have really large community of digital nomads, perpetual travelers, global opportunists, and and this community is extremely like a uh, precious and valuable. So we exchange a lot of information, a lot of we have like a Wikipedia, Liberation Wikipedia. We have our private signal canals. So we have like for example, we have a special private signal channel or signal group for people who are physically in Asuncion in Paraguay or in Montevideo. We have a special groups for global opportunities, like a global X. We have a special signal group for global healthcare, for example, special signal group for people who have bank accounts in Kyrgyzstan and or Georgia. And so all these people, we also have special group for P2P crypto trades. So for example, this is like a super nice that we have hundreds people, and we help hundreds people to open the bank accounts in Kyrgyzstan, Georgia. So these people, they can do like a non-KYC P2P crypto trades with crypto, and they can just using their like a they have the same bank account, so they can clear all the transaction in fiat inside of the one bank, which is super nice. So 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 we offer these P2P crypto trading signal groups for our customers, which is also like a additional value for our customers. And so this community is personally the strongest, the best things we can offer to our customers. Because if you choose like a random agency, uh, of course you may have this residency cheaper in Paraguay, in Asunción, but when you come physically into Paraguay, you get your cedula, your residency, you will be completely lost. You will have no information about anything. Basically, we have like the list of the best restaurant, uh, cafeterias, everything. So the community is crucial, and I still think that the community is the best part of our services. I mean, when we are talking about residency services.
I think that's really reassuring too, because as you go through these applications and you start filling things out, there's so much to have to keep track of, and it's a little overwhelming, and you want to make sure you get it right. And so I think that would be very helpful to have other people that have been through it that can tell you what they've learned, the mistakes maybe they've made to help you avoid those. Yeah, I think you're right that that community of other people that can help you out in the process, and then when you get to the other side, help you get sort of established in these places. That's a really, really valuable part. So really cool, man. Let's go ahead and jump into some rapid fire questions. So I'm going to basically go through about 5 of these questions. Give me a 20 to 30-second answer if you can, just a short, brief answer. Top of your mind, don't think about it too much, just your first gut instinct of the answers for these ones, okay? So, number one,
Yeah.
what's one myth about sovereignty that really needs to die?
Um, that you basically think you are sovereign and you are not. You know, just because you have no idea what is what does it mean exactly. That's the problem. I think most people have no idea what is it or what it is. Yeah,
Second question, if the EU banned Bitcoin tomorrow or tried, what do you think happens first?
it will be used everywhere. Like it'll be the best advertisement for Bitcoin, and everybody will use it. More than sure. So when someone wants to do it, it will be the best advertisement for Bitcoins ever.
What's your most unpopular opinion about passports?
Most popular. Okay, that you cannot, for example, if you're EU citizen, you cannot give up your passport or citizenship without getting another one, without getting citizenship of another country. So for example, EU citizens, they cannot be stateless like US citizen can be. You as a US citizen, you can give up your US citizenship and US passport, and you can be a stateless person, but Europeans cannot be.
And what's one red flag country that you would never advise anyone to stay in long term?
Long term. I don't know. Like for me, it's EU now. unfortunately. I'm really sorry, but it's EU. It's going into the like I'm not sure, but the EU commissionary, they approved chat control legislation like 1 or 2 days ago. So in the following weeks, it will be approved by the EU Parliament, and basically the EU is moving by big steps to the totalitarian dystopian society, and I'm really sad about this. And yeah, so unfortunately, yeah, it's worse and worse. Like when we are talking about like personal freedom, like
Great. And finally,
and economic freedom too.
yes. And finally, describe liberation travel in one sentence.
Okay, we are basically helping people to minimize exit cost. That's
Per-
all.
Perfect.
Because if you're in any like involuntary relationships, it is really it's really difficult and expensive to leave. Like imagine that you are, for example, you are like uh, you are like an abused wife in some like relationships, and for you it's really difficult to leave this relationship because you are, for example, you don't have money. Uh, so uh, so for many EU citizens, many people, it is just too difficult to leave the country, to exit the system, and we are just trying to explain them that we can minimize his exit cost. And that's all. We can help you with that. We can minimize your exit cost. And when you do exit, you will be more happy. That's all.
Very cool. All right, so we're going to wrap up today with a couple of questions from the audience. And some of these are really, really great questions. So if you guys haven't left one yet, you guys can still do that. Just use that link below for the Slido link. Okay, first question from the audience. Is it already too late to build a freedom structure, or are we still early?
I think it's more difficult. I'm not saying like much more difficult, but it's more difficult than maybe 5 or 10 years ago to get like a residency or citizenship. For example, uh, like 5 years ago, I got my Panamanian and Paraguayan residency. Basically, immediately I get like a permanent one. Now it's not possible. You firstly have to ask for the temporary residency, and for permanent residency, you have some obligation, mandatory visit. So it's more complicated, but it's still possible. Last year, it was possible to buy a good Caribbean passport, good Caribbean citizenship for the half of the price than now. So basically, all these Caribbean countries, they doubled prices of good citizenship. So it's still possible. It's still a good idea to make the opt out, but expect it will be more expensive and more expensive and more expensive. So more wealthy people will afford it in the future. So it's like with Bitcoin. Probably it's also a good idea to buy Bitcoin also in 5 years. Just buy Bitcoin in 5 years. But you should do it now because it's still cheap. And this is absolutely same with the residencies and citizenship. The prices are just going up. So if you want to save money, do it as soon as possible. And we are not talking about prices only. We're talking about associated bureaucracy, which is like a rising. So my recommendation is it's still possible. Don't think that it was much more easy in the past, but in the future it will be much more difficult and more expensive. So do exit do um, like implement your plan B as soon as possible.
Great. Next question. I'm not a nomad. I live in one country all year, and my income depends from a company that is from that same country. Is there a way to have a plan B for me and my family?
Yes, definitely. I have a special presentation, especially for to those kinds of people. So basically, people who are living all the time or most of the time in one EU country, for example, and they want to be free. They want to be free. It's still possible. So it's still a good idea to get a permanent residency in some country like Panama or Paraguay. But these people, if they what they can do and what many like Bitcoiners do, instead of instead of selling bitcoins and paying like a crazy huge taxes, they should use bitcoins as a collateral and try to leave from loans. Now you have many different like crypto loan services, and my best recommendation. So if I lived in one country, for example, Slovakia, and I don't want to pay any healthcare insurance, social insurance, or anything like that, what I would do, I would renounce my residency because as a citizen of Slovakia, I don't leave. I don't need residence in Slovakia. If I'm citizen, so I don't need like any permanent residence in Slovakia, but I can still live there. I just need to move for one day, like every, to uh, to go to some other countries and come back. And in this situation, I will use or I would use my bitcoins as a collateral, and I can use multiple different services, and I would leave from Bitcoin loan because living from loans is a non-taxable event. What everybody should know. So that's the reason why all wealthy people are living from loans. Like it's the best solution. So it's still possible. You still can give up your, for example, construction service. You can still give up your healthcare, social insurance if you don't have as income as you as a physical person. Your EU company can still have profit; they can still do business, but just you cannot like get pay dividends from your EU company to you as a physical person. Instead of it, you should leave from loans. Don't like you can pay like 5% or 4% interest fee, and that's all. So that's what I would do. I would leave from Bitcoin loan with no residency in the EU countries, paying no taxes at the same time. It's
You
still possible. I made the whole presentation and video how it's possible to do.
I love that. And I love that connection because next week we're going to have a representative from Firefish here to talk exactly about getting and
Yeah.
securing loans against our Bitcoin. So I'm personally, that's definitely the rabbit hole I am falling into very, very deeply. And I'm very curious about that. So that's cool that you've been seeing that advantage of getting loans against your Bitcoin as well. All right, next question. For EU countries, is it possible to leave your tax residency if you own some assets, like real estate or a company? Do you have to sell everything you own first?
No, you don't need to. There are a lot of foreigners who basically own a lot of properties, houses, in the given EU country, and they are not tax resident. But what is crucial, uh, not to be what is crucial to own like properties in the given EU countries and not to be tax resident. You can live in the given countries more than 6 months a year. What I told you before, but at the same time, most countries require that you shouldn't have a place to return. Place to return basically means that if you have like a properties, you should not be able to return back to these properties during the year. And the way how to achieve it, how not to be able to return to your properties, just to provide them for rental. So uh, um, all your properties should be rented. It's quite easy. So if you can have even like a 100 properties, but if these properties are rented, and you can prove you cannot you cannot come back to your rented property, then everything is fine. At the same time, if you cancel residency and you don't live in the country in the given country more than 6 months, it's completely fine. So you can still have companies in the given countries. You can still have like a properties in the given countries, but you don't need to be like a tax resident there uh, if you follow uh, some recommendations, right?
Right. What is the easiest passport to get? Not necessarily the cheapest, but the easiest. So that is there some country where you literally just pay an amount of money and you can get it very quickly?
Yeah, I think the most easy now is Vanuatu. Vanuatu, but it's because you can pay with crypto, like a Bitcoin, for example. Like it's not so hard to pass these background checks. It's you can get it pretty fast. It costs about 1K, 100K, something like that. but it's definitely not like a first or second class passport. So with a Vanuatu passport, you cannot you need visa to the EU, for example. So you don't have like a visa free access. So if you want to have like to the EU, so if you want like a really good passport, it should have like visa free access to the EU or to most countries, and that's why um, Caribbean passports are so valuable. And in this situation, I recommend like St. Kitts or Dominica, St. Kitts and Nevis, Dominica, Antigua and Barbuda, or these countries. But Vanuatu is cheapest and the most easy to ask.
Great. And here's our final question. And this is actually not my question, but something that I would definitely like to know. What is the approximate total cost for a family of four to obtain permanent residence in a more freedom friendly country?
It strictly depends on which country. So, for example, for family, Panama can be a really good option because if you have like a married couple and these married couple they have children, the cool thing about Panama is that we can basically process the whole family in one application. So it will be, for example, the father or mother of the family, and the other people will be just dependent. So for families, like big families, Panama can be like a reasonable or cheap solution. Uh, but it's very cheap. It's very cheap to get residency also in Uruguay, for example. But in Uruguay, it's more bureaucratic because in Uruguay, if you want to get residency for the family with children, you have to prove that these children visit like Uruguayan schools or they're like a homeschool in Uruguay. So if you are not able to prove that your like your children really study in Uruguayan schools, you cannot get this Uruguayan residency for children. So it depends if you want to move to the given physical to the given country and live there like permanently, or you are just looking for a plan B. And in this situation for families, best is Paraguay because in Paraguay nobody cares if your children visit schools or not. So it's you cannot do that in one application, but it's not so expensive. So in Paraguay, you can ask for the residency, firstly temporary residency, then permanent residency for the whole family, and you can have it as a plan B. So basically, you can travel with your family around the world, or you can stay in any EU country or US state and just have it as a backup plan. You don't need to. You have to visit Paraguay when you're a permanent resident every 3 years, but that's all. So you don't need to live in this country to have tax residencies there or to keep your permanent residency there. That's why Paraguay is so popular and so cool. But again, if you prefer like a beautiful ocean, you should go to Panama. Yeah, Panama is also very beautiful and cheap for families. I
Amazing.
mean immigration process, not the life,
Mhm.
not
Uh,
not 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 life itself.
Amazing. Thank you, Pavol, for your time today, man. We really, really appreciate it. Just sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, the amazing things you guys are doing at Liberation Travel. You guys need to click on the link below and visit the website, learn more about what they could potentially do for you. Being maybe a part of this community could be really valuable if you are looking to follow in Pavol's footsteps and maybe become much more of a digital nomad, reducing taxes and basically just becoming more sovereign and more in control of your own future, and more importantly, keeping as much of your life's energy as you possibly can. I definitely share that value with you on this journey here, and it's certainly something that I'm going to be considering more seriously now that I've met you, now that I know more about what Liberation Travel can provide. So thank you so much, man. Any last words you want to leave us before we let you go today? Thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you, Jesse, a lot for invitation. What else? Like just be free. It's possible. Just think about it. That's all.
I love it. Thank you so much, buddy. We appreciate you, and we'll hopefully get to talk with you very, very soon as well. So you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Thank you so much, man. All right, guys, we'll let him
Thank you.
go. Bye, Pavel. And what we're going to do is we're going to finish off with our final giveaway today. For those of you guys that are following along and participating, we're going to give away our Guardian Mini. Of course, one thing that we want to make sure that you guys are aware of is there is a free guide for solo mining that you guys can get at guardiansofblockchain.com, another great supporter sponsor of the show. So make sure you do go get your free PDF. Anybody can go here, click on this, and get a free PDF. But this is now the time where I'm going to be raffling off the Guardian Mini Miner. So here we go. This is going to be a random comment underneath the mission from this week's episode. And I've loaded them all up. We got 47 comments. And the winner will be Carlos MQ8T. He says, I'm back in the game. So welcome, Carlos, to the channel, to the movement. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And congrats to you. You got a Guardian Mini Miner coming your way. Make sure you do email the team. In fact, now that we're here, I'm going to go ahead and come over to let you guys know what our next live stream is going to be. Of course, every Friday, 6 p.m. Central European Time. Next Friday, I will be back in my usual setup. So you guys will see me back there. And again, like I said, we're going to be talking to Firefish, and we're going to be talking about Bitcoin loans, and also even allowing ourselves to earn some interest on supporting what they're doing there. So I'm going to really be very personally interested in learning more about those Bitcoin loans, interest rates, how your Bitcoin is going to be safely secured in a third party, all those kinds of really interesting things, getting into the granular detail about that. So if you're interested in Bitcoin loans, interested in living off of loans, this is going to be one show you do not want to miss. Again, 6 p.m. Central European Time. That's always going to be the sort of key for us. If you guys need to go to hold of the team, any questions, comments, concerns, anything, info at thegameofsatoshi.com, please reach out. If you guys want to get further involved with the movement, we have many other social media accounts. You can obviously follow us on X, etc. And of course, we've got a great Telegram group if you guys have questions about the game, about accessing the players area, anything about that, anything you guys are curious about or have questions about. The Telegram group is the best way to get fast answers. So make sure you do join that as well. And of course, for those of you feeling extra generous and want to support the movement even further, we do have a Geyser Fund available. 100% of the sats that are donated to this Geyser Fund go into the prize pool. So again, remember, we started off with 1 Bitcoin total. We're going to try to scale that up and grow that up as we get closer and closer to the final giveaway, which is going to be in early, mid-January. We'll have those details, obviously, as we get a little closer to that. So thank you to all of you guys that have been so generous with this. And that link is also in that link tree below if you'd like to join along and follow along with this. So appreciate you guys' time today. Thank you so much. You guys have a fantastic rest of your weekend. Remember, our next episode drops tomorrow, always on Saturdays and Tuesdays. So make sure, again, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, hit the bell to make sure you get notified first when these new things are ready to go. So welcome to the channel if you're new, and hopefully we'll see you guys next Friday as well. And again, I'm Jesse J. Always a pleasure. Always excited to be with you guys. I hope you guys are learning and getting as excited about the Bitcoin community as much as I am. So thank you so much. We'll talk to you guys next week.